Let's face it, traditional 2D engineering drawings can be confusing, forcing your brain to piece together flat views into a 3D object. Isometric drawing changes the game. It's a 3D pictorial view, showing an object as if you're looking at it from a corner, with all axes at equal measure. No tricky foreshortening. This method bridges the gap between blueprints and real objects, making designs instantly understandable to anyone, engineer, machinist, or client. Isometric views clarify how features relate in space, eliminating ambiguity. They don't replace detailed orthographic drawings, but they're the perfect companion, showing the big picture at a glance. Imagine explaining your design. A quick isometric sketch communicates more than words ever could. It's a universal language for brainstorming, presentations, and ensuring your design gets built right. Mastering isometric drawing means faster, clearer communication. It's an essential skill for every engineer. Before you start sketching in 3D, it's important to gather all your essential tools. Preparation is key to a smooth workflow and better results. For hand drawing, isometric grid paper is a must. It makes setting up your axes effortless and helps keep your proportions accurate from the very beginning. Use a sharp mechanical pencil for crisp, precise lines, and always have a quality eraser handy for quick, clean corrections. These basics make a big difference. Want to go pro? Add a drawing board, T-square, and a 30-60-90 triangle for perfect angles, since isometric axes are always at 30 degrees from horizontal. These tools help you maintain accuracy and speed up your process. In the digital world, CAD software like AutoCAD or SolidWorks has isometric modes that snap your lines to the right angles automatically, saving you time and reducing errors. Whether you're working by hand or on a screen, always start with light construction lines. These are your guides, not your final marks. They help you map out your drawing before committing to the final lines. Sketch lightly at first. You'll go over the real edges later with darker, more confident lines. This layering technique keeps your work clean and easy to adjust. Heavy lines too soon make for messy, hard-to-correct drawings. It's much easier to erase or adjust faint lines than bold ones. Think of construction lines as scaffolding, temporary but essential. They support your drawing structure until you're ready to finalize. The most important tool? Your brain. Plan before you draw. Take a moment to visualize your object and the steps you'll take. The second most important? Those light, barely there lines. They're the foundation of every great sketch. Start every drawing with a gentle touch, letting your ideas take shape gradually and naturally. Build up confidence as you go, darkening your lines only when you're sure of their placement and accuracy. That's how you get clean, professional results, by combining the right tools, careful planning, and a steady, patient approach. Every isometric drawing starts with 3 axes, 1 vertical, 2 at 30 degrees from the horizontal. Picture the corner of a cube. This is your foundation. Draw a light horizontal reference line, pick your origin, then use your triangle to draw the 30-degree axis and a vertical axis. All measurements, width, depth, height, are made along these axes or lines parallel to them. Before adding details, sketch a light box that encloses your object. This keeps proportions correct and prevents distortion. This boxing method is your guide for every feature you'll add. Any real-life vertical line stays vertical. Any horizontal line follows a 30-degree axis. Non-isometric lines like slopes come later. First, get your framework right. Consistency is key. Always use light lines for setup. Build the box before you build the part. This approach keeps your drawing accurate and easy to read. Don't rush. Lay the groundwork carefully. The setup phase is where precision starts. Get your axes and box right, and the rest falls into place. That's the isometric mantra. The boxing method is your secret weapon. Imagine any object fitting inside a transparent box. Start by drawing this box using the object's maximum width, depth, and height along your isometric axis. For a cube, measure equal lengths along each axis, connect the dots, and you have a perfect isometric wireframe. For a rectangular block, use the same process with different dimensions. Once your light construction box is done, trace the visible edges with a darker line. This makes the object pop off the page. The box keeps everything in proportion and makes complex shapes manageable. Always build the scaffold first, then finalize the object. This two-step process, light lines, then dark, keeps your drawings clean and professional. Master the box, and you can draw anything, no matter how complex. It's the foundation for all isometric sketching. Practice this method until it's second nature. Every great drawing starts with a box. That's the secret. Not everything is a box. In fact, most real-world objects have slopes, curves, and all sorts of funky shapes that make them interesting and functional. So how do you draw slopes and curves accurately in your technical drawings? For any angled or non-isometric line, use your box as a coordinate system. First, carefully locate the end points of the line within the box, then simply connect them. This method keeps your drawing precise and proportional. For a wedge, start by drawing the enclosing box to define the boundaries of your shape. Next, find the start and end points of the slope you want to create, marking them clearly. Then, simply connect the dots. No angle measuring needed, just a straight line between your reference points. When it comes to circles, remember that in isometric drawings, circles become ellipses due to the perspective. Never use a compass for a circle here. It'll look wrong and distort the illusion of depth. Instead, use the four-center ellipse method. Draw an isometric square, find the midpoints of each side, and use arcs to create the ellipse. This technique gives you a much more accurate result. For quick sketches, you can draw the ellipse freehand inside the isometric square, making sure it touches the midpoints for a convincing look. In CAD, use the ISO Circle tool for perfect, mathematically accurate results every time. The key is always to use the box to find reference points. Practice drawing ellipses. They're essential for representing holes, cylinders, rounded edges, and more. Don't just guess at curves. Use construction lines to guide you, ensuring accuracy and consistency. Every complex shape starts with simple geometry. Break it down into basic forms, use your box as a guide, and connect the dots step by step. That's how you handle any funky shape, no matter how complicated it looks at first. The box method works for everything: slopes, curves, and all the wild shapes you can imagine. Keep practicing, and soon these techniques will become second nature. Now let's combine shapes for realistic parts. To draw a cylinder, start with a box. Its top and bottom faces are squares equal to the cylinder's diameter, and the height matches the cylinder. Draw ellipses on the top and bottom faces, then connect them with vertical lines for the sides. For a hole, reverse the process. Draw the ellipse on the surface, then show its depth with a second offset ellipse. For fillets and rounds, mark tangency points, then sketch a smooth arc between them, inside for fillets, outside for rounds. In CAD, use the fillet command, but by hand, focus on smooth, tangent arcs. These details add realism and clarity. Always use construction lines to find key points. Clean up with dark, confident lines for the final look. Details make your drawing stand out. Practice combining shapes and adding features. Features like slots and pockets are just combinations of shapes you already know. For a slot, draw the center line, then the straight sides as isometric lines, and the ends as half ellipses. Drop vertical lines from the slot's outline to show depth, then connect the bottom with matching curves. Pockets are similar. Draw the rectangle on the surface, drop verticals from the corners, and connect the bottoms to form the floor. Chamfers are even easier. Measure back from the edge, draw a parallel line, and connect to create the beveled surface. Use light lines for setup, then darken the final edges. These techniques make complex parts easy to visualize. Always break features down into basic shapes. Use construction lines to keep everything aligned. Add details step by step. That's how you show inner workings clearly. Practice these features to level up your drawings. A drawing without dimensions isn't useful, so add them the isometric way. Dimension and extension lines should run parallel to the isometric axes. Write numbers so they sit on the isometric plane. Use oblique text if possible. In CAD, set dimensions to match the isometric view for a professional look. Avoid common mistakes, never eyeball angles. Use your triangle or grid. Don't mix perspectives. Keep everything in isometric. Never draw true circles. Always use ellipses. Use consistent line weights. Light for construction, dark for visible edges, dashed for hidden lines. This hierarchy makes your drawing readable. Sloppy lines confuse the viewer. Control your pencil or CAD settings. Clear, accurate dimensioning is the mark of a pro. Practice these habits every time you draw. That's how you avoid rookie mistakes. Now it's time to practice. Let's put theory into action and see how your skills translate to the page. Here are 3 classic isometric challenges to get you started. First, try drawing an L bracket. a staple in mechanical design. Begin by sketching a box that defines the overall size and boundaries of your part. Then carefully erase the sections to reveal the L shape, making sure your proportions stay accurate. And finally, add a hole as an isometric ellipse to complete the bracket. Next, tackle a flanged plate. Draw the main block, then add a centered cylinder on top using ellipses and tangent lines to make it look three-dimensional and precise. For the third challenge, draw a hex nut. Start with a box, construct a hexagon on the top face, project the sides down to give it depth, then add the central hole as an ellipse, and sketch in chamfers for extra realism and detail. For each drawing, always start with light construction boxes and guidelines to map out your shapes, then add details step by step, building up complexity gradually, and finish with clean, dark lines to make your drawing stand out. Don't rush. Accuracy comes from careful setup and patience, not speed. Mistakes are part of learning. Fill pages with sketches and don't be afraid to experiment. The more you draw, the more natural isometric thinking becomes, and soon you'll visualize D before your pencil even touches the paper. Practice is the only way to master these skills. Use the boxing method, draw proper ellipses, and pay attention to clear line weights every time for clarity and professionalism. Challenge yourself with new shapes and features. Try drawing objects you see around you or invent your own parts. Build confidence with every drawing and celebrate your progress no matter how small. Soon you'll start to see isometric shapes in everyday objects, making sketching even more intuitive. So grab your tools, set up your workspace, and get started right now. Put on some music, relax, and enjoy the process of bringing your ideas to life. Remember, every master started as a beginner, and improvement comes with every page you fill. The secret is to keep drawing, keep experimenting, and never stop learning. Go make something cool. You've got this.